gentlemen, we are now at the Leyland and Nuffield Tractor Club exhibit, where we've got lots of orange, blue and a little bit of harvest gold to take a look at. The man who's going to show us around this particular stand today is Dave Morgan. You may remember him last year when we had him talking about his lovely little Leyland, which is standing over there. Thank you very much for this.
No problem.
Can you start? Let's start with this wonderful brace of 1060s. Give us a little bit of insight on that tractor and we'll move on from there.
Well, the 1060s were considered to be the Rolls-Royce of tractors in their day.
Right.
They were superior, and I'm not just saying that because I am a Nuffield member. Because of their weight, they were considered to be a superior tractor up against the Fordsons and the Masseys in their time.
What, in terms of power to weight ratio?
Yes.
Or, right, okay,
yes.
Yeah.
They could plough a field where a Fordson would just be sat still because it's got the cast chassis.
Right.
And you've got an all-down weight.
Right.
But that made them very expensive to buy. So they were a lot more expensive than what a Fordson was. But if you talk to not contractors who were using these in their day, they were considered to be the Rolls-Royce of tractors.
Right. And now, obviously, the 1060, 1964, introduced the 10-speed gearbox, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And which was different from the competitors because rather than being a low and high with a huge gap, it was actually more of a ratio splitter, wasn't it?
It went from the Universal 4s, what its previous model was, which gave you a high top speed, but the next gear down was very, very low. So you went from 10 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It means the 1060 gave you a happy medium in between. It gave you this nice road speed and everything else that you had.
And you could keep the engine on the boil as well,
Yes.
couldn't you?
Yes.
Now, we go from the 1060, was it 1967 when they launched these, the 465s? Was it around that time?
Yes. We have a very early one. The very early ones, and this is one, as you can see, its decals are cast.
Right, so that was one of the first things then. That identifies a very early tractor.
Very, very early tractors only had them. The later ones had the stripes down the side and just a decal on the side and not being the cast sides. So this is a very early, I don't know what it is, but it's already early 465. Now the one next door to it, which is a 6-cylinder model, was an option that was available out of the dealership. A dealer would fit a 6-cylinder in for you.
That's a 698 engine,
Yes.
is it? Yeah.
Nuffields wouldn't say that they could do it, but the dealers were allowed to do it.
Really?
Yes, they were allowed to fit them as standard if they wanted to.
And they'd have no problem, the transmissions would handle it?
No, the back ends on these are like the proverbials. They'll withstand an awful lot of abuse.
Right, so this is G-Reg, so what's that, 19...
Must be about 69.
69, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Like a printed circuit dashboard on these, weren't they? That was one of their claims to fame. And then we went to this, what was it, 1970, we went to blue?
Yes.
Around that time?
Yeah, which was the same tractor, apart from it being different colours.
Yeah.
So apart from being the front, which is slightly different, the tractor basically is exactly the same as what the previous models were.
Yeah, but they just...
But just to give it a little bit of variation and to try and fool farmers, they painted them blue and fitted them at different fronts on them. But other than that, they're identical.
But it is a better looking tractor than that. That is not the best looking tractor in the world. I know nobody's ever going to... really
and they had a lot of trouble with the early ones of these, so yeah.
Overheating, as I said before.
Yeah.
These were good. These were good tractors. I personally got a lot of experience on a 384.
Yeah.
They were robust machines.
And again, it's a rare tractor because it's not got a cab on, and it's got its original wings, and they didn't make them for that long because the safety cab came in, and that was law. So the law arrived that you had to have a safety feature, and then these were phased out.
So this is another early example with the, like you're
Yes.
saying, with the H. Well, this is a 70, isn't it?
Yes.
So this is another example of an early production pre-Q cab.
Yes.
So it's actually not meant to have, and like you said, that's pretty rare, isn't it? Not to have a safety frame.
It's a very, very rare machine. Yes, you could fit a rollover cage, but basically the the government, he said that you can't do that. You've got to have a safety cab fitted. So that's what they did.
So then, of course, we went to, from these, there was a big development, of course, I don't think there's any here today, the big development was then with the Synchro gearbox, wasn't it? And then we went Harvest Gold, didn't we? And
Yes.
that was towards the end of the Leyland, and we've got two very nice examples of the Marshalls here, which were built at Gainsborough as opposed to Bathgate where this was built.
That's right. At the end of 1982, Leyland's decided that they could do away with the tractor division totally, and they sold it to Marshalls. And as you said, they moved the whole lot down to Gainsborough, and they started, although they were already being painted Harvest Gold with Leyland on the side, Marshalls took it on and carried on the colour scheme and carried it on as Marshall Gold.
Now this was a model, the 904 was a model unique to Marshall. They didn't have a Leyland 904, did they? It was a more powerful.
You'll only get these, a 904 XL. That's all they made. They never made a 904. They only made 904 XLs.
Right.
And 904 XLs have all got what's known as a creeper gearbox. So they have a very, very slow speed.
Right.
In one of its gears for whatever they want to do with it. And an awful lot of farmers loved these because of those creeper gearboxes.
Right.
And there's still quite a lot still around, believe it or not.
So
and they're highly sought after and they fetch a lot of money.
So you got a little more power, so it was what, 92 horsepower, whatever they were, turbocharged, 4-cylinder, 4-wheel drive, and then you've got the creeper box as well, which gives them a little bit more value and makes them a more versatile machine.
Very much so.
And of course we've got the cab as well.
You've got the Explorer cab.
The Explorer cab, which was a popular choice at the time, shared with other makes, but it was a good cab, a decent cab.
Very much so, yes. Very, very much so.
And so now we're chasing all back here. We've got a couple of tractors here today which are Perkins conversions. Now this is a Nuffield Universal or Universal, whatever they pronounce it, I think. This is a Perkins conversion.
No.
It's not?
No. No, they were fitted. They were fitted alongside the petrol TVOs. They weren't a conversion.
So it was actually a factory
standard
fitting. Right.
Factory fitted item.
I've just learned something today, ladies. I've heard lots of things today, ladies. But now that's why we get experts here, isn't it?
Perkins were fitted from 1950 to 1954.
Right.
They were fitted, as I just said, as an option to a petrol TVO version. But they supposedly weren't as good as a petrol TVO as regards power on the fields.
Okay.
And once they get a little bit worn, they're terrible to start.
Okay.
And then they offered them an L6 version as well, which was later, but it's very, very rare at L6 versions. But the Perkins, yes. And so it's said they did away with it because they couldn't get the amount of Perkins that they wanted.
Amount of engines
Perkins wouldn't supply them with the numbers. So they said, right, we'll design our own diesel engine, which is what they did.
Yeah.
And they designed and built it in 9 months.
Really? And actually they were good engines, weren't they? They
were wonderful engines. They were fitted in dozens of different things. You name it, lorries, cars, alternate generator sets, a lot of stuff. Boats.
Diggers.
They've all got BMC engines. Even today, there's an awful lot of BMC engines out there running around in whatever it might be.
The first JCB famously used them, didn't they? They did as well.
JCBs. Yeah, a lot of boats. A lot of boats had them.
Yeah, they're very good. Finally over here, obviously we didn't talk about that earlier, but again, when they bought in the 1060, that's a 1042 3-cylinder.
Yes.
So the gearbox was shared.
Yes.
Did it come out at the same time or was it the following year?
Exactly the same.
So, and did they drop the 460 when they bought out the 1060 or was it still available?
No, you couldn't get it. The 460 was done away with. And they were already making the 342.
Yeah.
But when they developed the 10-speed box, it was so superior that they decided to fit it into the little one, which is all it's different to to this little one compared to its bigger sister is the engine.
Yeah.
Everything else is identical.
So the whole tractor is the same as that one?
The whole tractor is completely the same
Put
as that
smaller
one.
wheels and a smaller engine?
Yes. Yes,
There you go.
everything about it is exactly as it was.
And there's something else I've just learned today.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad we got you to come and take us around again. I'll tell you something, because the day's a school day here, isn't it?
But yes, I mean,
My goodness.
yeah, it's, if you look at it, you can see that the front wheels are the same. You can fit smaller tyres on them than what those are, but they're exactly the same. Yeah, it's the same
Tractor.
same tractor.
Now, I've got to ask you a question, because we see this done quite a lot. Is this correct? The fuel pump is bare, because I can't imagine them worrying about that. I'd have thought they'd just they'd spray over the exhaust and everything.
Yes. Yes.
So that's not correct.
No.
They'd have just flash sprayed everything, wouldn't they?
Yes.
And chipped them out the door, yeah.
Yes.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. But
It is a beautiful tractor.
it's all however the individual wants to restore their own tractors.
An interpretation.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the word.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, they never came out of the factory looking that good, did they? It was absolutely delightful.
You were lucky if you got one coat of top coat on them.
Yeah.
My 1060 back at home, when I restored it, it literally only had it only had top coat on it. Never had no undercoat.
No, it was a tractor. They didn't care, did
It
they?
was a tractor.
Very different philosophy in life.
Yes.
On the way things were.
But yes, it's all down to however anybody wants to restore any tractor. It's like this here. I'm gonna go to this one. She is a one-off. She's a prototype. They never made another one, but she's a forerunners of the 345/465s. But everybody says, oh, that's wrong, as regards colouring. But she was multicoloured when I bought her, and I mean multicoloured.
Right.
I mean,
How do you know?
because, yeah, how do you know? She's got a grey axle wheels. She was designed by what was the Ferguson design team.
Right.
At Nuffield's bought out. Nuffield's bought out the Ferguson design team. They Tractor Research Company was their name.
Right.
And they designed this, and they designed the mini version of tractors as well.
Which we all know
is
of.
one is in the corner there. Yes. And it was supposedly to be a better tractor. Yes, it's easier access. There's lots of things that are a lot better than the previous model, which is the 1060. Mm-hmm. But supposedly they spent so much money on this and its sisters that they basically bankrupted Nuffield's.
So that's the history behind that then.
Because they had an open checkbook. They were given an open checkbook to develop this. And as you can see, if you really look hard enough, an awful lot of this has been cut and shuttered. You can see where all the different holes have been. You can see how this has been cut. Nothing is beautiful on this girl. You can see how this is made. It's just functional.
And this is authentic. So what you've done basically then is left it authentic as it would have been messed about with. It's probably too well painted.
It is. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Now then, just as a little bit of interest, you will see there's a number on there.
Yeah.
This tractor had an awful lot of those numbers everywhere. Its axles, its back axles, a lot of it had different numbers. I can only surmise that they're probably drawing numbers.
Right.
But I'm only surmising that. But there are hundreds of differences on this tractor to a production version that I can't show you because we ain't got one here. But silly little things, filler caps on the other side on a production version. Mm-hmm. Because when you do that, you're inclined to hit this with a farmer when he fills his tank up. So in a production version, these are on the other side. All of the tin work on this old girl is handmade.
Yeah.
Everything is handmade.
On the French
Might not
wheel
look
and all
it,
that,
but it is.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. This bonnet is 7 pieces. The front is 5 pieces. I can go on and on and on.
It's a remarkable piece. We're actually looking at then an authentic piece of Leyland tractor history.
Yes. She carries 2 sets of rear brakes. That's not unusual. They did that on other tractors. Leyland's had a few, but she's got a handbrake and she's got disc brakes.
Right.
She's got a handbrake for locking the wheels when you want to, when you want to park up. But normally it's just a foot brake is the discs. There's 114 pieces in the handbrake alone on this.
Not easy to assemble.
No.
Then.
So it's a good thing that rusts because farmers don't tend to do anything with them. But you can see that these are where the handbrake hits the pedals.
Yeah.
Nothing is pretty. This is on the top. On the production version, it comes out the back there, so you can't kick it. You can go on and on and on with this old girl.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got to say, I think I've just had an incredible education on these machines. I've got to tell you, once again, you've done it, haven't you? You've really, really given us a really strong insight into the world of Nuffield and Leyland. I thank you very, very much.
I could bore people to death.
No, you're certainly not boring any of us. Thank you very, very much.